Love you. Hey guys, this is Mommy of Two, Wife of One. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. And thank you all so much for tuning in last week. Last week was my first time having a scheduled guest. It was an interview with my mom, and it was the most watched video of any video that I've ever posted. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for you guys for watching it, for commenting, for sharing the video with your family and friends, and I just greatly appreciate it. So this week, instead of me doing one specific topic, I decided to do something a little bit different. Because I post my videos on my Facebook page, but also on YouTube, a lot of people who watch it are not only family and friends and people who know me personally, but also people around the world. So I'm kind of sort of global, but not really global. But because of that, I get questions from people who don't necessarily know me, who want to know more information about me or just my opinion, on stuff going on in their lives. So I thought that I'd dedicate this video to answering some viewer questions. And hopefully, some of the questions that I answer will fit you guys' situation as well, and it'll help more than just these few people. I'm just going to get started. The first question says, Dear Mom of Two, Wife of One, my name is Nadine, and I've been with my boyfriend for the past 7 years. I remember seeing in one of your past videos that you were with your husband for a while before you guys got married. I love and am in love with my boyfriend, but I want to know how you knew your husband was the one. Thanks for being so candid in your videos. Keep them coming. Thanks, Nadine. But you're right. I was with my husband for a while before we actually got married. We were together for 10 years before we finally, signed the papers and exchanged those rings and had the ceremony and the flowers and all that good stuff. For us, 10 years worked for us. And I wouldn't necessarily say for anybody looking to get married that you should be with someone for a certain amount of time. I think it's less about the amount of time you're with someone and more about if you are ready to become a wife or ready to become a husband. There was never one solitary moment where I knew that, okay, this person needs to be my husband, but I did have a moment where I knew he was different from other men that I had dated in the past. Some people who know me personally know that I have a younger brother. He's 3 years younger than I am, and he's the complete opposite of me. I'm very sociable and I can talk to anybody and I go up to people and start conversations and I can be loud and funny and silly and all that stuff. And my brother is very quiet, kind of stays to himself. If you go up to him and have a conversation, he will talk to you, but he will not be the one to initiate anything. So for a lot of the boys that I brought home that I dated, they kind of had my personality where they were very just sociable and kind of in your face. And so when they would meet my brother, they would shake his hand, say, "Hey, nice to meet you." But because my brother didn't really say much else, they kind of just, left it alone and said, "Okay, nice to meet you. I'll see you later," whatever. And that was it. My now husband, when I brought him home to meet my brother, he, had a little conversation with him like, "Oh, so how's school going? And, oh, do you like it? Oh, okay." And, it wasn't anything serious. But at one point in the evening, I was talking to my mother in the kitchen or the living room or something, and I noticed I couldn't find my boyfriend at the time. And I was looking around. I was like, where the heck did he go? I knew he wasn't in the bathroom. He's kind of disappeared. And then I heard his voice, and he was in the basement of my house where my brother normally retreats because he goes down there and plays his video games, whatever. But my now husband followed my brother downstairs and sat with him for at least 40 minutes just talking about whatever my brother wanted to talk about. He made it his mission to go out of his way to talk to my brother, to engage him in conversation, to see what his interests are. And no other man in my life, no other boyfriend has ever made that attempt. So for me, I didn't necessarily know he was going to be my husband, but I definitely knew that he was different from every other guy that I'd ever been with. And I knew that he was something special because of that. Because not every guy's going to do that. And it wasn't a big thing and it wasn't a huge grand gesture or anything, but for me, it meant a lot that he took the time to talk to my brother because he didn't have to do that. So hopefully that answered your question about how I knew he was the one and all that stuff. And like I said before, it's less about how long you've been with someone. It's definitely more about, are you ready to be married, and not just married to that person. Are you ready to be married in general? Because being married, people will tell you all the time, being married is no joke. It takes a lot of commitment and it takes a lot of communication, and you have to be ready to be a wife or to be a husband. And for my husband and I, it took us so long to really, get married and, decide we're going to do it because I was focused on the years, and I was like, well, we've been together for 5 years now. What's going on? How come we're not married? Blah blah blah. And he told me I'm not ready to be a husband. And me being a female, all I heard was he wasn't ready to be married to me. And it took me a while to understand that he wasn't saying that. He wasn't saying, there's something wrong with you, I'm not ready to be married to you. He was saying, I don't know if I'm ready to be a husband. I don't know if I'm ready to do what it takes to be somebody's husband, to be that provider, to be the head of the family. And he was honest enough with himself to say that to me. And once I realized that, I was like, you know what? I'm not really ready to be a wife. We've been together for a long time. Just assume that's the natural step. So either way, I say all that to say that you have to decide if you're ready to be a wife. You need to talk to your boyfriend to see if he's actually ready to be a husband. And, just kind of go from there. And I do believe that there will be signs that God will put in front of you to let you know that this is the person he wants you to be with. And those signs, again, aren't always going to be grand gestures. They're always going to be a huge glowing arrow pointing to your boyfriend saying, him, marry him. It's just, you just have to listen to your heart and definitely listen to what God is telling you. So I'm going to do one more question this week. Let me see. Okay. Dear Mom of Two, Wife of One, I'm on the verge of turning 30 in the next few months, and I'm starting to think about what I want out of my life. I've been doing a lot of heavy thinking about my career, my relationship, and it's starting to depress me that I'm not where I thought I would be. Did this happen to you when you turned 30? And that is from Keith. Hi, Keith. Well, before I turned 30, I did hear that turning 30 is it's like a light bulb goes off in your head. And I don't know exactly why it's 30 as opposed to any other age, but I guess for a lot of people, turning 30 is like your benchmark. You're supposed to be exactly where you're supposed to be for your career. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to have your kids. You're supposed to have all of your stuff together. And most people that I know, almost all of my friends in my circle, my birthday is late in the year. It's in November. So all of my friends turned 30 before I did. And a lot of them, once they turned 30, they had that aha moment, or they had that epiphany, or they had that serious conversation with themselves. Every single one of them did. And I was like, wow, what I look forward to. But when I turned 30, I didn't have it. And I realized this because I kind of had an idea of where I was going. And when I was 30, I already had my child, and I wasn't married yet, but I was with the person that I knew I was going to marry. So I didn't have that moment of, oh, what am I going to do and where do I need to be and all that stuff. And I was talking to a coworker of mine recently. She's 10 years younger than I am. She's 24, and I just turned 34. And I told her, at least from my perspective so far, your 20s are for making your mistakes, therefore taking risks, therefore, kind of dabbling into your career and seeing if that major that you had in college is going to be helpful for you once you get out of college. You kind of dibbling and dabbling, trying to figure out what's going on. That's what your 20s are for. Your 30s is for settling down, and not necessarily settling down, getting married, but it's for having more focus. You understand exactly what it is you need to do. You learn from the mistakes of your 20s. For some of us, we're still paying for our mistakes from our 20s when we're in our 30s, but we have a better understanding of what's going on. I think your 40s are for enjoying all of the life lessons that you've learned. I think you still learn once you get 40, but I think that a lot of our life lessons come between the ages of 20 and 35, I think. And so I think your 40s, you're a little more relaxed, you're a little more chill because you understand that, hey, life goes on. I can't sweat the small stuff. I can't allow negative people to be in my circle anymore. I know for me, the older I get, the easier it is for me to block people and situations and things that are a waste of my time, or things and people that hurt me, or things and people that I can't depend on. And, sometimes people call me a little cold-hearted because of that, but the way I look at it is, I don't know how much time I have on this earth, so why am I going to do myself a disservice by wasting my time or my energy on people and things that don't mean me any good? Like, what's the point of that? I don't want my children to see me doing that. I don't want my husband to see me doing that. I want to spend the days and hours and minutes and years that I have on this earth being around people that I love and people who love me, people I know I can learn from, people I know I can teach. If I can't do that with you, if you're just wasting my time, if you are someone I can't depend on, if you are talking about me behind my back, if you just have all this negativity around and you're always depressed or talking about people, I don't have time for that anymore. So don't get stressed out at all that you're turning 30. Turning 30 is not a bad thing. It's not a death sentence. There's no written rule that says you have to have all of your stuff together by the time you're 30. The importance is that you have some idea of where you want to be, whether it's with your career, your relationship, your family, whatever it is. Just continue to have an idea of where you want to be. Be open to the idea that things aren't going to turn out the way you want them to, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes the things you want are not the things that you need, and God is going to make sure that you have exactly what you need. So don't get upset when certain things happen or certain people leave your life or certain relationships, end. Don't, you can get upset because that's natural, but don't dwell on those things because God took those people out of your life for a reason. He's going to bring somebody much better in your life, whether it's a friend, a lover, whatever. So don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat turning 30. It happens to the best of us. Just praise God that you were able to see another year on this earth. And it's another year to make changes, another year to take risk, another year to just make yourself happy and spend your time making yourself happy. So hopefully I answered everybody's questions to the best of my ability. I have a few more, but I don't want to take up too much time. But this was fun. I'm glad that I got to hear from people who watch my video. I don't get comments all that often, so I love the fact that you guys actually took the time to watch my video and took the time to actually write me. I really appreciate it. Continue to send your comments, your questions, your concerns, whatever it is, to momof2wifeof1@gmail.com. That's mom of the number 2 wife of one@gmail.com. This is mom of 2 wife of 1, and I will see you all next week.